After an accident, minutes matter. Your words and actions matter even more. You need help, and you need it now. This is David versus Goliath, brought to you by Dolman Law Group Accident Injury Lawyers, a boutique firm with a reputation for going head-to-head with the insurance company giants and putting people over profits.
Welcome to another episode of the David vs. Goliath podcast. I'm Matt Dolman, managing partner of the Dolman Law Group, here with my business partner in crime, Stan Gipe, noted trial lawyer, a local celebrity. Stan, take it away.
All right. Well, here today we're going to do an update, a Suboxone update to let people know kind of what's happened since the last time we did a video.
Where's this lawsuit going? Everything so far has seemed really good, but the lawsuit seems to have slowed down. We saw a lot of really good orders coming out from Judge Calabrese, and then all of a sudden it's kind of stagnated. Where are we right now?
Well, I really think what happened from being on this is lawsuit got filed, everything started running. People were hoping a tolling agreement would get put in place, and it
What's
didn't.
a tolling agreement? For our listeners out there who don't understand what a tolling agreement is, what is a tolling agreement?
Okay, so there's always a statute of limitations, which is a time within which you must file a lawsuit. So like in Florida, if we're talking about auto accidents, you must file your lawsuit within 2 years of the date of the accident. All right. Each state has different statutes and limitations. So these suits get filed, multi-district litigation starts going, and we start rolling in on the statute of limitations for some of the 2-year states. There's a question of when the statute of limitations may have started. There was a warning put on, or a potential warning, whether it's a sufficient warning is still a question to be answered. But there was some kind of warning placed on the medication in June, I believe, of 2021. Right? June of 2021. So June 2023 rolls around, we're running in, or June 2022, because it was June of 2024, we were running in on the 2-year statute. We start moving, and we need to get these cases filed before the statute runs. So the judge created a Schedule A. So instead of filing a bunch of individual lawsuits, we were able to file one lawsuit, put all these names on Schedule A, and run. Well, this happened in such a quick time. Not all of those claims were vetted, right? Not everyone on Schedule A had been verified to use the correct product, which is the name brand Suboxone strips, not the generic. Not all of those people had been verified to have sufficient damages to cross the damage threshold of $75,000 to be in federal court. But we got these out there so we could avoid the statute. Now, okay, so we start looking back at that. The defendants are saying there's a whole lot of people on this list. We're trying to figure out, what's the world of claims look like out here? Are we looking at 2,000? Are we looking at 10,000? Are we looking at 40,000? Are we looking at 100,000? And you can't really tell with the way the list currently is, because it's just this list of sort of unvetted names, right? We don't know anything about these people. So now what's happened is we get a census. And a census is really just what it sounds like. It's a question form that forces the plaintiffs to disclose certain information about the claimants involved in the case, right? We need a social security number for each and every person we represent, right? We're going to need to provide that information. We need to provide how many of these people we've got proof of use, how many of these people we've got proof of damages for, and we've got to start providing HIPAA releases, right? And HIPAA release is a release that allows the defendant to get the plaintiff's medical information, because medical information is private. You can't just go ask for it. You have to have a release from the plaintiff. So now the plaintiff has to give the defendant the HIPAA release along with the names of the facilities they've treated at. Where'd they get the Suboxone? When I say get it, I mean get it prescribed. Where'd they pick it up? What pharmacy? Who is their dentist? All right, because now we've got these records. We've been gathering them for the plaintiffs. But I could send them over to the defendant, but, it would be malpractice for a defense attorney to rely on the plaintiff's word for them to go, all right, well, the plaintiff says they're injured. Let's give them money, right? So now these guys get to go out there, get the records, and make sure that what they're getting is an actual official copy of that plaintiff's actual record. So this is big, right? This is something that's kind of, it's not big for people, like it's not big for the plaintiffs, But for those of us involved in the steering committee, those of us involved in the litigation, this is a big step. It's going to push things forward, forces a little accountability. I think we are probably on the leading edge of getting records. I think we've been more aggressive and more proactive about getting records for our clients than just about any other firm out there, at least from what I've seen. It's going to force everyone to be proactive. It's going to force everyone to go out there and get those records. And it's going to force this Schedule A to get trimmed down, right, to just those cases that truly, have issues.
But
right?
Schedule A was just for these 1 and 2 year statute of limitation states. There's a whole universe of claimants out there from the 3, 4, and 5 year states.
Right. But what I'm talking about right now is this Schedule A stuff we got. And then another thing that's important, right, is dual reps, right? And this is a situation where someone will sign up with our firm. They might sign up with another firm. Oh, they saw a third ad. They're going to sign up with that firm. And in their own mind, hey, we'll just see which one of these guys does best, right? Well, what's going to happen is they're going to run these Social Security numbers through a program, and any of them that pop up in more than one case, is more than one time, you're going to tell the attorneys, you got to figure out who reps these people. You got to work this out. So at the end of the day, what we're doing is it's sort of distilling down the list, distilling down this world of claimants to figure out, are we closer to 2,000? Are we closer to 5,000? Are we closer to 10,000? Are we closer to 100,000 claims? Okay, I can't tell you that this is something the defense has said, right? But I've thought all along, and Indivior's got to be getting tired of getting sued. Indivior's done some bad stuff. I mean, there's been criminal issues brought to light. There's been, it's not just civil things. And now we're going right back at this again over more bad things Indivior's done. If I'm sitting on Indivior's side, I would be just looking to get out. Look, I want to be done with this stuff. I don't want to go through more litigation. Let's close the door on the Suboxone chapter and anything we've done.
It's a really bad story for them. You're looking at a company where their CEO and chief medical director were indicted.
Yeah, I mean, think of this. How many of you listening to this have been indicted for anything? Right? Okay, so this is a big deal. They're not going to want to do this again. My thoughts, and this is pure speculation, right? There's no legal merit to this. It's just Stan Gipe sitting there giving you what's in his head. This is the first step to Indivior wrapping their arms around what it might take to resolve these. Let's figure out what we're looking at from a world of cases. Then we can internally try to talk about the numbers it would take, right? But this is the first step. I'm cautiously optimistic that once we go through this process, Indivior's going to be in a position to wrap its head around a little bit more of this case, a little bit more of what's going on, and put us maybe in a position where we can start talking about resolving these even before any bellwether hits the ground.
Where are we right now with the discovery phase in terms of both general and specific causation? General as in use of X causes Y, use of Suboxone film causes tooth decay and tooth loss, versus specific causation that individual A used Suboxone and it caused his or her tooth loss. So where are we with general and specific causation at this point?
Okay, so that is more of a scientific argument, right? That's more bringing in the experts to talk about.
Yeah. Where are we with discovery? Has that started? Has the process started?
We're right now in the process of vetting experts, right, to see which experts will be appropriate.
Which I know, by the way, because I'm on the expert committee. Yeah. I'm asking you just to educate the people who are listening. Like, what's the process? Like, what's the timeline? Where is the next milestone to occur? When do we have Daubert hearings?
We don't have those set yet, and we're working on getting the experts in line to support the claim. The discovery thing, though, that we're talking about, you got kind of two things going. The experts are going to support the science and say, hey, this is why, the Suboxone strips cause the enamel loss and cause the tooth loss in this individual. That's the science that we're working with on the scientists. The other thing we're doing over here is the discovery side is the electronically stored information, ESI. Right? This protocol to get the ESI. So we've got to have two things. One, you got to know the questions to ask and the people to ask them to. So that's what's getting sorted out now, because the discovery centers around two things. One, proving up that Suboxone actually did this, but two, proving up that Indivior actually knew this. Indivior should have known this. These are things Indivior should have checked for. That's stuff that's internal. Right? You're going to find out, hey, let's talk about the marketing aspects.
Yeah, Did Indivior rush this to market because they're, the patent on their medication? So they if you want to give everyone the story, and Stan can tell it better than anyone, but originally this was in tablet form, and they were running out on their patents. They're going to face generic competition. That's when they switched to sublingual. Did they rush this to market? Did they properly vet and study this? And is there other forms of buprenorphine, which is, that's what Suboxone is, that could be delivered? Is there other delivery mechanisms, such as an injection, or, we can go back to the tablets, are much safer than sublingual Suboxone strips which lay against the teeth or lay against the tooth enamel for an extended period of time, which causes degradation of your enamel?
Well, the short answer to that is yes, right? Yes, there are other answers, and that's part of the theory here, and this is why we want to dig in, because it looks awfully suspicious that right when the tablet was running out of its patent and it was getting ready to face generic competition, Indivior magically realized these strips were superior and started pushing them to all the doctors. Hey, it's not just the drug, it's the delivery method. Now the tablets aren't nearly as good as these strips. You need to be prescribing the strips. Right? So that's what pushed. Well, why did Indivior do that? Did they check these strips, or was it just a money grab? Was Indivior sitting there holding off on these strips and going, look, we're going to roll out these next, and we've got this injection, but we don't want to roll that out until the strips come off of patent, and that'll be our next cash grab, right? The motivation for doing these things is what's hidden in that electronically stored information.
And I believe we're going to find out that Indivior did this for pecuniary financial gain, not for meritorious reasons. I don't think that was their belief or the motivating factor behind Indivior. That's why I love this case. That's why we love this case jumping in, is because we believe Indivior is a bad actor.
We believe Indivior is a bad actor, and I can already tell you this. It's really kind of ugly because you're starting to see a little bit of mud from the defense. Hey, these people are junkies. These people, have tooth loss. How do we even know the tooth loss is related to this? Well, okay, you're marketing Suboxone, right? Everyone who's using your product has had a problem with opiates. That's who you're marketing to. That's your customer. You can't now sit here and complain about the market you serve.
Yep. Yeah, you create the very peril you're complaining of. And these people and I hate part of my language, these people are fucked in the way up with opiates, and now they're being fucked in the way down with what Indivior's done to them. I feel very badly for our clients, our client base.
Well, and I can tell you the other thing I feel bad about is the clients get lumped into one group, okay? Everyone thinks that just because someone's got an opiate addiction, it means they were an illicit drug user. They picture them buying these pills in a street corner. They picture some, a single individual on the verge of homelessness. They don't picture, a mom with some kids at soccer who went through a surgery and suddenly got hooked. They don't picture a dad who suddenly realizes, man, I really like these painkillers that have been, dealing with my back pain, right? Some guy who's taking this to go to work and suddenly realizes they're addicted, but they don't have a choice because you got to feed your family, right? You either got to take the painkiller and go to work, or there's a lot of stuff that goes on out there. It's not just people looking to get high, right? That's not the vast majority of the clients we've got out there. It's people that were looking for pain relief and then ended up in too deep. And
junkies are the rare exception. They're not. That's not standard quote. When we look at our clients, most people have very sad stories.
Yeah, I mean, you talk to some. I mean, we can't get into any of the real specifics on most without violating attorney-client privileges. But you got notable people, right, who had chances to do prominent things that were specifically derailed for them.
Yeah, most people don't realize that it's your. And this is not vanity reasons. The first thing people see is your teeth. It affects your job prospects. It affects your ability to take care of your family. It affects your vocational prospects. You've actually curtailed their ability to take care of their family and earn an income.
And it compounds it, right? Because if anyone's known to have a history of drug use or drug addiction, and you see tooth problems, okay, those of us that are ignorant, like I was before doing this, think, oh, tooth loss is due to drug addiction. If you're addicted to drugs, your tooth rot. And then you realize, no, that's just meth, right? If you're not meth is rotting teeth. It's not opiates. Opiates don't rot teeth, but I didn't know this, right, until I came into this kind of thing. So you get someone with a history of drug addiction, you see the bad teeth, you think, oh, that's drug teeth. Yeah, that's what it is. And you instantly, it's a negative connotation on that person. They can't get jobs. They can't smile. They've got no confidence. And if you don't get it fixed, it's a big problem. It is a huge, huge problem for people.
So where do we go from here to wrap up this segment? What's the next step, and then how do people find us?
The next step is, we keep pushing forward. This isn't really necessarily a step. It's a slow push. Getting this census information completed and starting to get the electronically stored information and seeing what's in that is really the next step. If people want to find us, Lawsuit Legal News is where they're probably looking at this right now. That's going to be a great source for any information on any mass tort, any multi-district litigation. If you've decided you want to sign up with us, if you want to go ahead and bring a claim, this is something you're interested in, we're handling these through a firm that we're a partnership in called Dolman Russo. And I'm on the steering committee for this particular mass tort. So you can reach out to us at Dolman Law or at Dolman Russo. And either one of those sources, we can get you signed up, process a claim. Lawsuit Legal News can get us to us. Or, you can just Google Matt Dolman or Stan Gipe, and you can find us that way.
Very easy to find. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
All right, thank you. And this is it for another update on the Suboxone multi-district litigation lawsuit. Look forward to serving you if you decide to give us a call.
This episode of David vs. Goliath is over, but your journey is just getting started. To share your story with us, visit dolmanlaw.com. That's DOLMAN law.com, or call 866-965-6242. The insights and views presented in David vs. Goliath are for general information purposes only and should not be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. The information presented is not a substitute for consulting with an attorney, nor does tuning into this podcast constitute an attorney-client relationship of any kind. Any case result information provided on any portion of this podcast should not be understood as a promise of any particular result in a future case. Dolman Law Group. Big firm results, small firm personal attention.